grade 3 students. I hope everyone is doing well. In this video, we're going to get acquainted with a new genre called myth, or specifically we're going to talk about the Greek mythology. Before we go deep in this topic, we need to really understand what the term mythology means. The word mythology comes from the Greek mythos, which originally meant speech, but which later came to mean fables. The word myth is defined as a story of an unknown origin, basically religious and supernatural in nature, which aims to explain one or more aspects of the world. So, when we talk about myths, we refer to folk tales that explain something about the world. Sometimes myths are a set of stories that talk about a particular person or a particular situation. Myths always used to teach a moral lesson. So, they were often told to children to teach them about a proper behavior or a good manner. Although we now view these stories as fictional, the Greeks believed them to be true. So, if we want to give a definition for a myth, we can say that myths are fictional stories that explain the actions of gods or the causes of a natural phenomenon, and it usually involves supernatural elements. Now let's talk a little bit about the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks told stories about their gods. These stories are called myths, short for mythology. These stories about the ancient Greek gods are still told today. The magical world of the ancient Greek gods was a world full of fights and wars, fear and fun, and punishment and love. Many myths were based on the fact that gods, like mortal men, could be punished for doing something bad and could be rewarded for doing something good. Now let's go over the types of myths. We have different types of myths. The first type is called creation myths. And creation myths describe how the earth or a group of people came to be. The second type is called nature myths. Nature myths describe something or why something in nature is the way it is. The third type is known as hero myths. And as any other stories, myths are stories that include characters. The characters in the myth could be heroes and heroines, and hero myths describe the quest of a hero or a heroine. The fourth type of myth is called Greek and Roman myths, and they mainly describe the actions of gods and goddesses. What about the purposes of myths, or why are myths written? Myths are stories which are written to explain how something came to be. They are also written to teach us a moral lesson. They also explain the actions of gods and goddesses, as we said before. And now let's go over the features of myths. The features of myths are: they include gods and goddesses as main characters to help the hero. It's totally fictional and none of its events happened. Myths include mythical creatures. So these fictional stories might include mythical creatures, or what we call beasts and monsters. Some of these creatures are like the Hydra or the Cyclops. The fourth feature of the myth is that it includes heroes and heroines as main characters in the story with superpowers that gods gave them. This hero is called Hercules, and this one is called Perseus. And when it comes to writing a myth, you should think about the following. You should think about the characters of your myth. The characters, as we said, could be gods, goddesses, heroes, heroines, the magical creatures as well, and humans. You should also think about the problem. The problem of the myth is mainly about a hero or a heroine on a quest searching for something. And you should also think about the solution of your story. The solution is mainly the moral lesson that the myth teaches you. It includes magic. Good people are generally rewarded, whereas bad people are generally punished. And now, let's have a look at some of the gods and goddesses ancient Greeks believed to live on the top of Mount Olympus. These gods and goddesses were known as the Olympians. The first god is Zeus. He was the most powerful of all. He was the king of all the gods. Zeus married his sister Hera. This is a picture of Hera. Since he married his sister, she became the queen of all the gods. She also became the queen of heaven and the goddess of marriage and childbirth. Zeus controlled three things. Zeus controlled thunder. He also controls rain and order. If we talk about his weapons, we can say that he always carries his scepter and the thunderbolt. The second god we have in Greek mythology is Poseidon. Poseidon was the god of the sea, floods, droughts, and horses. Poseidon was the brother of Zeus. His weapon is the trident. This is a picture of the trident. He rides horses and dolphins. The third god we have here, who was also the brother of Zeus, is called Hades. Hades was the god of the underworld. His beast is the Cerberus. And the Cerberus is the three-headed dog. Another god we have here is Ares. Ares was the god of war. He was the son of Zeus and Hera. His weapons are the armor and the spear. Another god is called Hermes. And this is a picture of Hermes. He was the messenger of all the gods, and he was the god of travel. Hermes was also the son of Zeus. If we talk about his symbols, he used to wear winged sandals as well as the traveler's cap. And now let's talk a little bit about the goddesses in Greek mythology. One of the main goddesses in Greek mythology was Athena. Athena was the goddess of wisdom. She sprang, or she came out from Zeus' head wearing an armor. Her weapons are the spear and the shield. Demeter. Demeter is another main goddess in Greek mythology. Demeter was the goddess of the harvest and Hera's sister. Demeter was also the mother of Persephone and the reason for the 4 seasons. Another goddess is Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the goddess of love and beauty. Now, let's go over some of the mythical creatures and beasts in Greek mythology. The first one is the 3-headed dog called the Cerberus. And the Cerberus is a huge and powerful 3-headed dog. He guarded the entrance to the underworld. A second beast or a second monster was the Minotaur. This is a picture of the Minotaur. This is a man-eating monster with the head of a bull. He was kept in a hidden place, or he was kept hidden in a place called Labyrinth on the island of Crete. The Hydra. The Hydra is a massive and poisonous serpent with 9 heads, or maybe more. Every time one head was injured or cut off, another 2 grew in its place. The Chimera. The Chimera was a monstrous fire-breathing creature made of the body of a lioness with a snake tail and a goat's head on its back. The Cyclops. The Cyclops was another giant or another mythical creature. He was a giant with a single eye in the middle of its forehead. They made lightning and thunderbolts for Zeus to use. The Centaur. The centaur was a mythical creature which was half man and half horse. And now let's talk about some of the heroes found in Greek mythology. The first one is Hercules. Hercules was half man and half god. His mother was a mortal, but his father was the king of all gods, Zeus. Hercules did not know that he was a semigod until he had grown into a man. Another hero in Greek mythology was Perseus, who cut off the head of Medusa. Thanks for watching.